You guys are on.
Very good. Thank you. Let's call the Public Works and Utilities Committee for August 23rd, 2021 to order. We have a roll call vote, please, Ms. Diaz.
Counselor Garcia,
Present.
Counselor Abeyta,
Here.
Counselor Lindell,
Here.
Counselor Vigil Coppler,
Here.
and Chairman Rivera.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Next, approval of the agenda. Any changes from staff, Ms. Wheeler?
No changes from staff, Mr. Chair.
Anything from the committee? Wishes of the committee?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion for approval by Counselor Lindell, second by Counselor Vigil Coppler for approval of the agenda. Any further discussion? We have a roll call vote, please, Ms. Diaz.
Counselor Garcia,
Yes.
Counselor Abeyta,
Yes.
Counselor Lindell,
Yes.
Counselor Vigil Coppler,
Yes.
and Chairman Rivera.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Very good, thank you. Next, approval of the consent agenda. Any changes from staff?
No changes, Mr. Chair.
All right, anything committee, would the committee like to pull off the only item on the consent? Anybody?
Mr. Chair,
Counselor
I'm
Neal?
sorry, but I do want to pull it off. I have a couple of questions.
All right. Very good. What are the wishes of the committee?
Move to approve as amended.
Second.
Motion for approval is amended by Counselor Lindell, second by Counselor Vigil Coppler. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please, Ms. Diaz.
Counselor Garcia,
Yes.
Counselor Abeyta,
Yes.
Counselor Lindell,
Yes.
Counselor Vigil Coppler,
Yes.
and Chairman Rivera.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Good, thank you. Next, approval of the minutes from August 9th, 2021. Any changes from staff? Ms. Wheeler?
I'm so sorry, Chairman. There's a number of people that are texting me and having trouble getting in. I guess there was a different link or something, but no changes from staff, Mr. Chair, on the minutes.
Okay. Anything from the committee? Wishes of the committee?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion for approval by Counselor Lindell for the minutes, second by Counselor Garcia. Further discussion? Roll call vote, please, Ms. Diaz.
Counselor Garcia,
Yes.
Counselor Abeyta,
Yes.
Counselor Lindell,
Yes.
Counselor Vigil Coppler,
Yes.
and Chairman Rivera.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. We're on to presentation informational items. Item A, can you read that into the record, please, Ms. Diaz?
Update on Public Works employee training for the fiscal year 21's fourth quarter. Regina.
Yeah, Ms. Wheeler will be presenting. Go ahead, take it away, Ms. Wheeler.
Thank you, Chairman. This is our quarterly report. I think we've managed to finally get it into the format that we're following, that Utilities has set the lead for. These trainings are provided in a number of ways. Some of them are online training, some of them are in-person training, and some of them are tailgate meetings with their supervisors before work to discuss potential hazards. Most of the division directors are available for any questions.
All right, any questions for Ms. Wheeler or any of the other directors?
Mr. Chair.
Counselor Vigil Coppler.
Thank you. I want to thank you for putting this together. It's very, it's got a lot of coverage of different things that the employees are doing, and I think it's great. There's a few typos that, you might want to look at on the subject matters. And so when you get down, way down, I think the format changes just a bit. I think it starts with parking. on page, well, I don't know what page that is, but it begins to mention just the number of employees, and it doesn't say, well, it gives the percentages, so we can kind of figure out, 100 versus not, but usually the report says like 3 out of 5 employees have gone. And then it switches to just the number of employees. And then when you go down to the parks, it has number of employees and number eligible, but it doesn't say where we are with attendance. So I'm just bringing this up for future reports, because I think it's very useful to use the same format where you say, 5 out of 10 employees have gone, therefore it's 50%. And that I think works really well. So just as you start from parking on down, then public works, and then facilities, they begin to use a different format. So I would just suggest we use the same number of employees, and then of course, number attended, and then percentage. And I do notice one of these reports goes all the way back to 2019. I think it's the last one. That's pretty nice to know, but I'm not sure. I think some of these trainings you have to keep updated. So I'm not sure what those years are trying to state. But the question I have is, does the safety officer get a copy of this report? Did she get a copy?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Councilor Vigil-Koppler. Last time I sent it to her, she said that this was not her jurisdiction, actually, and that they're responsible for mandatory trainings that they organize, but that we were responsible for this training.
Maybe I'll circle back with her, because when I talked to her some time ago, it's been some time, she thought it was really helpful to know what was going on overall in the city. Certainly you all do, however you get this training, it comes, as you said, it comes from different sources. But I think it's important for the safety office to know the entire spectrum of what kind of safety training is going on in the city. So I guess I'll ask her the question again.
I can read the email. She said, these will be filed, but please remember that these trainings complement the trainings that are required for safety policy and will not substitute for training that safety arranges for. Our training sessions are specific to the city, while others are general information, and they are not required for safety documentation.
Okay, thanks for that. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions from the committee?
Mr. Chair, I got one.
Councilor Garcia?
Thank you. Just a quick question on, I guess it's the parks trainings. I see that it's planned. Do we know if that's in a month, 2 months, a year? Do we have a time frame on when these trainings are planned to be held?
Thank you, Ms. Chairman and Councilor Garcia. I think Melissa McDonald is here and can respond to that.
Okay.
Good evening, councilors. Thank you very much for the question. Yes, those are ones that we we'd like to tackle this year. I have not listed, in previous reports, I had listed the dates that we were projecting for. I can go back to doing that, but we found that it really was dependent on quite a few factors. So it was kind of not coming out exact. So I thought you might be interested in what we were planning, but the dates weren't always working. So that's why I switched to be determined.
Okay, understandable. I just didn't know if we were working towards, specific dates or whatnot. And so thank you for the clarification, Ms. McDonald. I really appreciate it. No other questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Anything else from the committee? All right, I just had a couple of comments. First of all, I'm very impressed by the amount of trainings that we have and the amount of personnel that we have being trained, even if they're tailboard trainings. I think it's really important that, before you go out and use a weed eater, that you maybe do a little safety training before you go out. So those are also extremely important. So it's great to see the number of trainings and the number of people in attendance, and knowing that everyone's just kind of watching out for each other. The only other comment I had, Ms. Squealer, is just I think with regards to the airport, it's a second quarter training, April through June. So really, it's second quarter for the calendar year, but fourth quarter for the fiscal year. So if we can just make sure that we're all on the same page with that. But that's all I have. Other than that, I'm super impressed, Ms. Wheeler, by you and all the division directors, and hope we can continue this. So much appreciated.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair.
All right, with that, we will go on to our action item. The only item on consent. Ms. Diaz, can you read that into the record, please?
A resolution finding the building and premises located at 3003 Calle Caballero to be ruined, damaged, and dilapidated, and a menace to the public comfort, health, peace, and safety. Ordering the owner of record of 3003 Calle Caballero to remove the building, rubbish, and debris from the municipality, and providing that the owner of record of 3003 Calle Caballero does not remove the building, rubbish, and debris, and City of Santa Fe shall remove the building, rubbish, and debris and place a lien on the property in the amount of the cost of the city's cleanup efforts. Mike Prince.
Thank you. Councilor Vihil Coppler, you pull this for.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't know if Mike Prince is on, though. Does any-
Yes, he's been texting me and I wasn't sure why he needed to join. Let me get him the new link as well. Pardon me. I told him we didn't need him, but I didn't realize he had an item. Ward.
Any other questions we can ask until Mr. Prince gets on, Councilor Vihil Coppler, or do we need to wait for him?
I don't know of anybody else who could answer these. So, yeah, I think I have to wait. Sorry.
All right, we'll give him a few minutes.
Councilor Rivera, I just promoted Mike Prince in.
Okay,
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Prince.
Mr. Chair, shall I continue?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Prince, for joining us. I had some questions of mostly, well, first of all, it says in the memo that there's an attorney representing the owner's son. And I wondered if you knew through that conversation or any conversation, if the son intends to move forward, or is it just abandoned, this property?
Yes, thank you, Councilor Vihil Coppler, Chair Rivera. They indicated to me, or this attorney indicated to me, that the family did want to get this into a probate court and get it settled there. But she indicated, it kind of, from what I could tell, it seemed like there might have been some problems with that. I'm not sure what that is. But we are moving forward because this property, and we'll certainly work with the son as much as we can, or any other interested parties, and we would give them notice of this if it was to happen. But we were just kind of moving forward, trying all tracks because this property is, as you can see from the photos probably, and from what I hear, it's just in very bad shape, and it's really attracting a lot of problems to the neighborhood, and we are getting complaints from the neighbors. So, but we definitely would notify that attorney and anybody else that we can.
Okay, then the resolution is primarily to get to get him maybe to jumpstart the activity to move forward. Is there a deadline? How long do we give
Uh,
them?
Yeah, well, under this, Councilor Vito Coppler, under the state law, we can move after 10 days after giving them notice. The law allows the municipality to go in 10 days later and take the building down and put a lien on the property. It doesn't mean we have to go move that quickly. But that's what the law allows. There's nothing, we would move, it's not up to me. We would certainly consult with all parties and maybe even the governing body if necessary in executive session as to whether or not we're going to, move ahead and tear this building down and put a lien on the property.
Okay, do you know if there's a mortgage on this property? Have you researched that?
I have not, Councilor Vito Coppler. I can ask, I can do that myself or get one of our staff members to do that because that's a good question.
I think it's very important to know because if there's a third party, then
Sure,
we need to
we
move
would.
a different way.
Sure,
And
we'd let
so,
the
but
bank know.
the question I have is, you can place a lien on a property. I'm not so sure you can foreclose on it because you're not the lien holder. The mortgage company would be. They would be the ones to foreclose and be responsible. But if there's no lien, then there isn't. So that means, they would bear the responsibility of demolition and such. But if there's no mortgage on the property, then it seems to me that we can proceed. And if we foreclose, one of the things that I did see is that there's about a $6,000 tax debt on this property right now, and maybe a little more. And it's not in the FIR. So if we foreclose on it, then I think then we're the owners and then we take on that debt. Shouldn't that be in the FIR or am I wrong?
Thank you for that question, Councilor Vito Coppler. Yeah, I was not aware of that. And might want to be put that in there. This is the first time this has been brought up. This resolution, first time I brought one here before the committee and the governing body. So I think that's a good question or something that we will include if we do this in the future, and I can try to find out.
So the key things are if there's already a lien holder, which would be the mortgage company, and then our process would be different. Let me see. All right, well, I guess this is the first step to pass the resolution to get some action out of the family. And hopefully they can move through probate and establish ownership and then do something. It's still worth something. If I was that family, I'd do something. But anyway, that's all the questions I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other questions? What are the wishes of the committee?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion for approval by Councilor Vito Coppler, second by Councilor Lindell. Any further discussion? We have a roll call vote, please, Ms. Diaz.
Councilor Garcia,
Yes.
Councilor Abeyta,
Yes.
Councilor Lindell,
Yes.
Councilor Vito Coppler,
Yes.
and Chairman Rivera.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. On the item 8, action items discussion, we have no items there, no items for executive session. Any matters from staff, Ms. Wheeler?
Thank you, Chairman. No matters from staff at this time for Public Works.
Mr. Jones?
There's no matters from public utility staff. Chair, thank you.
Thank you. Matters from the committee? Very good. Thank you. Matters from the chair. Councilor Vihil Coppler, you had asked for some more, I guess, reports from the utilities, the public works side of things. I'm sorry, the utility side of things. Mr. Jones and I will be working on something and hopefully could be coming forward soon in the next couple of meetings with some additional information, and you'll be able to review and provide feedback at that time. So just letting you know it's being worked on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sure. With that, our next meeting is Tuesday, September 7th, 2021. I did want to welcome Mr. Salazar, who's working along with Mr. Beta. He's a new employee, sounds like, and going to be helping out. So thank you. Did a fine job today, Mr. Salazar. So with that, we are adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Bye, everybody.